Alright guys, so this week we wanted to talk about pad work and karate. So too often you see people holding pads and just trying to strike it like a boxer, right? So for example, Aaron holds the pads and he gives me 1, 2 and maybe I bob and weave, he throws over my head and do stuff like that. Well, there's no way for you to train your katas to be combative if you're doing stuff like that. Like, it's two different sports, right? There's two different disciplines. So why not train your katas on a person who's holding pads? So one easy one is just do your katas and your partner knows where you're going to attack, right? So for example, few kata each, it's down block punch, and I'm gonna go forward, down block punch, and then down block 3 punches going forward. And what Aaron's gonna do is I'm gonna drive him backwards as we do this drill. So he knows my first attack is down block, so he gives that to me, and I'm going to punch. Next one, again, and I'm gonna drive 3 punches backwards. So that way you're actually using your kata in a combative sense, and he's giving you cues or help or tools to help you out as well. So he's giving you targets to hit. So then you can add like sportive aspects to that as well, right? So Aaron was mentioning we do the kata, but then we have the person attack us back. So I down block, before I throw the punch, he goes here, so I gotta weave and then punch. I down block again, weave, punch. And the next one's punch, 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 right? So you're still using the framework from the kata and you're adding in a call and response type of thing. You're responding to his attacks with the katas that you know.
See how it goes.
So another thing you can do is something we call call and response. So let's say you're punching the mitts like you normally do. You throw your jabs, you throw your crosses. But now you tell your partner every time you can throw a cross, my response is going to be a movement from a kata. So my response for his cross now is going to be that. So I'm going to be looking out for that. So the entire time I'm just going to be jabbing and crossing like I normally do, and once he does that, I'm going to auto-respond to something like that. So for example, we work this, and back to square one.
I'm gonna throw jabs, and Michael's gonna throw a front snap. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this number, right? And this should look familiar to people who practice kata. So it's gonna be 1, 2, 1, 2. And then I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna make sure that you keep your face covered, and it's gonna go across and cross face like that.
So you can see how you can add in unlimited call and responses to these, right? So let's say if I throw with my right arm, you're going to arm drag it to your right side. If I throw with my left arm, you're going to high block and then kick me in the shin with your elbow. So if I throw with my right, arm drag. I throw with my left, high block. So again, I'm gonna give them targets, just like this. And if you guys don't have pads, you can do the exact same thing empty-handed, right? So he's still hitting my palms like the mitts. And then when I throw my right, he arm drags. And we're back to here. And if I throw my left, he high blocks. So now you can turn that into a drill. So we're hitting pads. All he has to look out for is my right punch and my left punch. So I can throw whatever I want to him. Let's say I throw a kick, it doesn't really matter because he still blocks it. He attacks his target. He's still waiting for that punch. Now I throw my right, arm drags. That's his auto response. Another thing you can do is work your mass clears or clearing movements found in kata, right? So let's say instead of giving him targets, I'm just patting my arms now so that he can do a huge gross motor movement. So I'm going to crowd him and have pressure inward so that he can do that, right? So I'll crowd him however I want. And this way it saves my forearms from getting bruised up and it gives him the freedom to go as hard as he wants because he knows he's not going to hurt me as I wear pads, right? So, and then again, you guys saw the stomach pad, so if I had that one on, he could punch right afterwards. So then you could also use pads against the wall, right? So as we're struggling, I can use these as gloves, and I'm going to give him images to strike. So it's going to be like he's striking my vitals, striking my head, my stomach, so that he kind of loosens me up so he can take me down easier. So again, let's say I have you pushed against the wall. And what I'm going to do is just flash the images up here so you can palm strike him whatever you want. So one last food for thought, you can use the pads to set up takedowns. So you're striking so you can strike through the opponent or even use it to bump them off of you, right? So bump them to set up strikes or set up strikes so that you can bump them, so vice versa. For example, let's see Aaron has his target out here. So instead of just trying to do this, I can use it as a striking point to set up a takedown, right? Or let's say he has it there again, and I do the same thing, right? So instead of just going in and out and trying to do this like a sport fighter, you use it as a way to go in. So just think of pads like what they're supposed to be used for. It's protecting him so that you as a trainer can go harder, right? Another thing is using it so from the clinch I can bump off of him so that I can strike here. And again, you want to use as much kata-based movements as you can. So for example, right here we're messing around, I push off so that I can use something that I've done in a kata before.